The wedding invitation arrived on a Tuesday. Cream cardstock, gold lettering, my brother's name embossed across the top. I should have been happy for him. Instead, I stared at the second name, Marissa Chen, wedding planner, and felt something dangerous unfold in my chest. Marissa, the woman who'd planned my parents' 30th anniversary party 3 years ago? The woman who'd remembered I hated carnations and loved peonies? The woman I'd spent 2 years trying very hard not to think about? The woman who was 17 years older than me and absolutely, completely off limits? The invitation said I'd be working closely with her on best man duties. My hands were shaking when I called to RSVP. "This changes everything between us now," she'd said when I saw her again at the venue walkthrough, both of us pretending the air hadn't just shifted. I'd looked at her with what must have been everything I'd been hiding and answered, "Good." I wanted everything changed. Some changes, once started, burn everything in their path. The venue was a converted warehouse in Brooklyn, all exposed brick and Edison bulbs, perfect for my brother Ryan's industrial chic vision. I'd arrived early, coffee in hand, trying to prepare myself. 3 years. It had been 3 years since I'd seen Marissa Chen in person. I was 29 now. She was 46. The math hadn't improved. "Oliver." Her voice behind me, low and careful. "You're early." I turned. She looked different silver, threading more noticeably through her black hair now, lines around her eyes deeper. But still that elegant composure, that way of moving through space like she owned it. Charcoal blazer over a silk blouse, heels that made her almost my height. "Ryan asked me to check the bar setup," I said, hating how formal I sounded. "Make sure it matches his liquor preferences." "Of course." She moved closer, pulling out a tablet. "I have the mock-ups here. We can review together." We stood side by side, not quite touching. The space between us felt electric. Dangerous. "Macallan 18, she said, pointing to the screen. "I remembered you mentioned it at your parents' party. Ryan said it was your favorite scotch. So he wanted it at the bar." My breath caught. "You remembered that?" I remember everything about that night. The night I'd had too much champagne. The night I'd cornered her by the garden fountain and told her she was the most fascinating woman I'd ever met. The night she'd driven me home because my date had left early, and we'd sat in her car for 2 hours talking about everything: her daughter in Portland, my architecture career, her divorce 3 years prior, my frustration with women my age who only talked about Instagram. The night she'd walked me to my door and said, "You're 26, Oliver. I'm 43. This conversation can never happen again." Then she'd left. And I'd spent 3 years trying to convince myself I'd imagined the longing in her eyes. "Marissa," I started. "We should focus on the bar setup," she interrupted. But her voice was unsteady. "Ryan's paying me to make this perfect." "Right. Professional." "Professional," she echoed. But she was looking at my mouth. I stepped back, created distance. "The Macallan is perfect. He'll love it." "Good." She cleared her throat, looked away. "The bachelor party is next week. You'll need to coordinate with the transportation company. I sent you the contact information." "I got it." "And the rehearsal dinner." "Marissa." I cut her off. "Why did you take this job?" Silence. Long enough that I thought she wouldn't answer. "Ryan hired me 6 months ago," she finally said. "Before I knew you were the best man. By the time I found out, the contract was signed. You could have referred him to another planner." "I could have." She met my eyes. "I didn't. Because I'm apparently a masochist who likes torturing herself." The honesty knocked the air from my lungs. "Marissa, this changes everything between us now," she said quietly. "We're going to be working together for the next 4 months. Closely. Seeing each other. Constantly. And I need to know, do you want me to find someone else? Because I will. I'll recommend someone excellent. Ryan will never know." I should have said yes. Should have taken the out she was offering. "No," I heard myself say. "Don't leave." Her jaw tightened. "I don't want you to leave." I stopped. This was insane. She was my brother's wedding planner. 17 years older. My parents knew her. This was impossible. "What do you want?" Her voice was low, dangerous. I want everything changed, I whispered. I've wanted it for 3 years. She closed her eyes. You can't say things like that. Why? Because you're older? Because you planned my parents' party? Because this is complicated? Because all of those things. She opened her eyes, and they were full of fear and want. And because I'm trying very hard to do the right thing here. What's the right thing? Walking away. Protecting you from a choice you'll regret when you're 35 and I'm 52? I'm 29 years old. I think I can decide what I'll regret. Can you? She stepped closer. Close enough that I could smell her perfume, something floral with an edge of spice, jasmine, and black pepper. Because I'm 46. Oliver, I was married for 20 years. I have a daughter your age. I have gray hair and crow's feet and stretch marks. I'm not some exciting adventure. I'm someone who's already lived half her life. I don't care about any of that. You should, but I don't. I held her gaze. I've tried, Marisa. For 3 years, I've tried not to care. I've dated other women, appropriate women, my age, my demographic, everyone's approval. And none of them were you. Oliver, tell me you haven't thought about me. Tell me that night in your car meant nothing. Tell me you forgot about me the next day. I was shaking now. Tell me, and I'll walk away. We'll be professional. I'll be the perfect best man. You'll be the perfect planner, and we'll never have this conversation again. She was silent for so long I thought I'd miscalculated, that I'd just humiliated myself completely. Then she said, very quietly, I can't. Can't what? Tell you I haven't thought about you. Because I have. Constantly. For 3 years. She ran a hand through her hair. That night in my car, I almost kissed you. Did you know that? You were laughing about something stupid, your firm's terrible coffee, I think, and the streetlight was catching your face and I almost kissed you right there. My heart was hammering. Why didn't you? Because you were 26 and I was 43 and it would have been predatory. You deserved someone your own age. Someone who could give you kids and a normal timeline. I didn't want someone my own age. I wanted you. Past tense? Want. Present tense. I want you. She made a sound, something between a laugh and a sob. This is a terrible idea. I know. Your brother is my client. Your parents know me. Everyone will judge us, judge me, especially. They'll say I'm a cougar, that I'm taking advantage, that you're confused. I know. The age gap people will say terrible things. That I'm old enough to be your mother. That you're having some mommy issue crisis. I know. Then why are you doing this? Because I'm tired of pretending. Tired of dating girls who bore me. Tired of wondering what if. I closed the distance between us. And because you said you wanted everything changed too, she looked at me like I was something impossible. If we do this, it has to be slow. Secret. At least at first. We can't tell anyone until after Ryan's wedding. I won't risk ruining his day. Agreed. And if at any point you wake up and realize you want someone who can give you 40 years instead of 20, you tell me. No judgment. No guilt. We walk away. Okay. I'm serious, Oliver. I'm not trapping some young guy in a relationship that makes no sense on paper. You're not trapping me. I'm the one who started this conversation. She smiled slightly. You did, didn't you? So what now? She glanced around the empty venue. Now we finish the walkthrough, professionally. And then? She paused. Are you free for dinner tonight? I am. Somewhere outside the city. Somewhere no one will recognize us. Marisa Chen, are you asking me on a secret date? I'm asking you to have dinner with me. What happens after that? She reached out, almost touched my face, then dropped her hand. We'll figure out as we go. That night, we drove an hour north to a small French bistro in Westchester, somewhere dim and quiet where no one knew us. We sat across from each other in a corner booth, and it felt like that night 3 years ago. Like no time had passed at all. Except now, There was no pretending this was just friendly. Now the want was out in the open, humming between us. Tell me about the last 3 years, I said. What have you been doing? Working too much. Planned 43 weddings, which is approximately 42 too many. She traced the rim of her wine glass, dated a few men, none of them serious. Why not? Because none of them were you, she said quietly. I kept comparing them. It wasn't fair to them. That's not healthy, Marisa. I know. My therapist keeps telling me I need to stop fixating on the unavailable younger man. I winced. You talk about me in therapy? Sometimes. Don't worry, you're not the only dysfunction we cover. She smiled. What about you? Anyone serious in 3 years? A few relationships, nothing that lasted. I paused. Because none of them were you. The honesty in my voice made her eyes soften. We're quite a pair, aren't we? Apparently. I reached across the table, took her hand. Her skin was soft, fingers trembling slightly. This is insane. You know that, right? I know. You're going to get judged terribly for this. Way worse than me. I know. They'll call you a cougar. Say you're desperate. That you can't get a man your own age, so you're preying on someone younger. I know. She squeezed my hand. But I'm tired of being appropriate. Tired of dating age-appropriate men who treat me like I'm past my expiration date. Tired of being invisible. You're not invisible to me. You never were. She looked at me with something raw in her eyes. What do you see when you look at me, Oliver? Really? I see someone brilliant. Someone who remembers impossible details about people because she actually cares. Someone who rebuilt her life after a divorce and became one of the best wedding planners in New York. Someone whose daughter calls her every Sunday not out of obligation but because they're genuinely friends. I leaned forward. I see someone who's 46 and more interesting than anyone I've ever met. You're going to break my heart, she whispered. Or you'll break mine when you realize you deserve someone who can keep up with you. You think you can't keep up with me? I think you're terrifying and perfect and I'm in way over my head. She laughed, really laughed, and it lit up her whole face. God, you're young. Is that a problem? It's going to be. Eventually. When I'm 56 and you're 39 and you look at me and realize you wasted your 30s on someone who's getting old, I'm not wasting anything. And you're not old. I have gray hair, which is beautiful. Crow's feet, which show you smile. Oliver, I'm going to kiss you now, I said. If that's not okay, you need to tell me. It's okay, she whispered. I stood, came around to her side of the booth, cupped her face in both hands, looked at her like I was memorizing every detail, the silver threads in her dark hair, the lines around her eyes, the way she was looking at me like I was something precious and dangerous. Then I kissed her. It was everything I'd imagined for 3 years. Soft and hungry and perfect. She tasted like wine and possibility. Her hands came up to grip my shirt, holding on like she was afraid I'd disappear. When we pulled apart, she was shaking. 3 years, I murmured against her lips. I've wanted to do that for 3 years. Was it worth the wait? Every second. I kissed her again, slower this time. But this complicates everything. Good, she said. I wanted everything complicated. I laughed, rested my forehead against hers. What am I going to do with you? Figure it out with me. Over the next 3 months, we learned each other in stolen moments. Secret dinners at restaurants far from anyone we knew. Late-night phone calls that lasted until dawn. Texts that were professional on the surface but charged with everything we couldn't say out loud. 2 weeks in, we were shopping for a tie for Ryan's rehearsal dinner. Some boutique in Soho Marisa had recommended. I was trying on options while she stood back, assessing with that professional eye that missed nothing. The Navy, she said, stepping closer. It brings out your eyes. She reached up to adjust the knot, her fingers brushing my collar. The touch was innocent professional. Even but the saleswoman behind the counter was watching us with that look. That calculating, knowing look that said she was making assumptions. I saw the moment Marisa noticed it too. Saw her hands falter. Saw her step back like she'd been burned. Or the burgundy, she said, voice suddenly distant. That works too. The saleswoman smiled. Too bright, too knowing. Shopping with your mom? That's sweet. The words hung in the air like poison. Marisa went pale, started to pull away, to put distance between us like she could erase what the woman had assumed. I caught her hand, held it, looked the saleswoman dead in the eye. My girlfriend, I said clearly, deliberately. Not my mom. My girlfriend is helping me pick a tie. Then I pulled Marisa close and kissed her. Right there in the middle of the store, in front of the saleswoman and the other customers and anyone else who wanted to watch. Not gentle or tentative. Claiming, this is mine, and I don't care what you think. When I pulled back, Marisa was looking at me with tears in her eyes. You didn't have to do that, she whispered. Yeah, I said. I did. We bought the navy tie, walked out holding hands, and I felt her trembling the whole way to the car. That's going to happen, she said when we got inside. Every time we're in public, people are going to assume I'm your mother, or that you're my boy toy, or that I'm paying you, or that you're having some kind of crisis. Let them assume. Oliver, I don't care what strangers think. I care about you. I turned to face her, and I need you to believe that I'm not going anywhere. Not when it gets hard. Not when people stare. Not when your daughter meets me and realizes I'm a year younger than her. Not when I'm 35 and you're 52. I'm not going anywhere. Sophie's going to lose her mind. Then she loses her mind. But I'm still going to be here. Because this I gestured between us. This is real. You're real. And I'm not giving that up. Because some saleswoman made an assumption. She kissed me then. Deep and desperate, tasting like fear and hope and that jasmine and black pepper perfume that was becoming synonymous with home. 4 weeks in, we were at an art gallery in Connecticut. Somewhere Marisa had been wanting to visit for months. Somewhere we could walk hand in hand without running into anyone from our lives. We stood in front of a massive canvas abstract, all blues and grays bleeding into each other, and Marisa leaned into me. What do you see? She asked. Honestly, I see chaos trying to become order. She smiled. That's us. Is it? We're chaos. A 29-year-old and a 46-year-old who shouldn't make sense but somehow do. She squeezed my hand. Tell me about your ex-girlfriends, the age-appropriate ones, because I need to know what I'm competing with. You're not competing with anyone, Marisa. Who more me? I sighed. There was Emma, 27, marketing executive, smart, ambitious. We dated for 6 months. What happened? She wanted me to be ambitious too. Wanted me to want a corner office and a 6-figure salary. But I like architecture. I like designing buildings that matter, not climbing corporate ladders. I paused, and she bored me. Every conversation was about promotions and networking and strategies, never about, I don't know, ideas, beauty, things that matter, Marisa repeated softly. Then there was Rachel, 28, lawyer. We met at a conference, dated for 4 months. She treated me like a project, like I needed to be fixed or improved. Better clothes, better friends, better ambitions. I wasn't enough as I was. You're more than enough. I know that now. Because you see me. You see me and you don't try to change me. I turned to face her. That's the difference. All those age-appropriate women, they wanted me to be something I'm not. You just want me. I do want you. Her voice was rough. So much it terrifies me. Why does it terrify you? Because you're 29. You should be dating those age-appropriate women. Building a life with someone who can give you the next 40 years. I don't want the next 40 years with someone who bores me. I want whatever time we have, even if it's just 20 years, even if it's 10. I want them with you. She kissed me in front of that chaos becoming order painting, and I tasted salt, her tears mixing with mine. 6 weeks before the wedding, we had a close call at a cake tasting. Ryan, his fiancée Claire, Marisa, and me, all gathered around displays of frosting and fondant. Marisa's hand had brushed mine, reaching for the same fork. Just a touch, nothing anyone would notice. Except Ryan noticed. You two seem comfortable with each other, he said carefully. Too carefully. My stomach dropped. We've been working together for weeks. It's natural. Right. Natural. He looked between us, something calculating in his eyes. Marisa, didn't you plan Mom and Dad's anniversary 3 years ago? I did, Marisa said smoothly, and Oliver was there. Did you two talk much? Briefly, I said. We exchanged maybe 10 words. Ryan took a bite of cake, studying us. Claire, didn't your friend post something on Instagram last week about seeing someone who looked like Oliver with an older woman at a restaurant in Westchester? The air in the room shifted. Claire looked uncomfortable. Marisa's expression was carefully neutral, and Ryan was watching us like a predator who'd just spotted prey. Must have been someone else, I said. Must have been. But his eyes stayed on me a beat too long. Because obviously my little brother wouldn't be stupid enough to date my wedding planner. Especially not someone almost 20 years older. That would be, what's the word? Inappropriate? Ryan, Claire said gently. The vanilla lavender cake? Should we try that one? He let it drop. But I knew. We both knew. He suspected. After they left, Marisa and I stood in the empty venue. He knows, she said. He suspects. What do we do? We're careful, more careful. She ran a hand through her hair, silver threads catching the light. Or, we tell him now. Before he figures it out completely and feels betrayed. We agreed to wait until after the wedding. I know. But if he's already suspicious, she wrapped her arms around herself. And if anyone's going to take the heat, it should be me. I'm the adult here. You're his little brother. He'll blame me. He'll blame both of us, and we'll handle it together. But 3 weeks before the wedding, the choice was taken from us. Ryan called me. We need to talk. My place. Now. I knew before I got there. Knew from his voice. Someone had seen us. Someone had talked. Someone had posted proof. When I walked in, he was pacing his living room like a caged animal. Claire was there too, looking miserable. So, Ryan said without preamble. He pulled out his phone, showed me a photo, Marisa and me at that French bistro, my hand covering hers on the table, looking at each other like nothing else existed. Want to tell me why my best man is fucking my wedding planner? The word hit like a punch. Not dating, not seeing, fucking. Like we were doing something dirty. Ryan, don't. Don't insult me by lying. He was shaking with anger. Claire's friend posted this 2 weeks ago. I've spent 2 weeks trying to convince myself it wasn't real. That my little brother wouldn't do this to me. Do what to you? We're not doing anything to you. You're sleeping with my wedding planner. A woman I hired. A woman I trusted. A woman who's old enough to be your... He stopped himself. Jesus Christ, Oliver. She's almost 50. She's 46. And you're 29? That's 17 years. She's closer to Dad's age than yours. He was shouting now. What the hell are you thinking? I'm thinking I'm in love with her. Love her? You barely know her. I've spent 3 months getting to know her. I know her daughter's name is Sophie. I know she drinks tea instead of coffee when she's anxious. I know she rebuilt her entire career after her divorce. I know. I don't give a shit what you know. He slammed his hand on the counter. She's almost 50 years old. What happens in 10 years when you're 39 and she's 56? When you finally wake up and realize you wasted your 30s on someone who's getting old, that won't happen. You can't know that. You're 29 years old. You think you know everything, but you don't. You don't know what you'll want at 35 or 40. He turned to Claire. Tell him. Tell him this is insane. Claire looked at me with sad eyes. Ryan's right that the age gap is significant, but I also think. She paused. I think you should let Oliver make his own choices. His choices affect me, Ryan shouted. She's my wedding planner. I've paid her $50,000, and now I find out she's been sleeping with my little brother behind my back? We weren't sleeping together when you hired her. I don't care. This is inappropriate on every level. Everyone at my wedding is going to be talking about this instead of celebrating Claire and me. They're going to be whispering about my little brother and the cougar wedding planner. Do you understand what you've done? I fell in love. That's what I've done. With a woman who's having some kind of midlife crisis? She's not having a crisis. Then what do you call it? A 46-year-old woman seducing someone young enough to be her son? I pursued her, not the other way around. Oh, that's supposed to make it better? That you're so desperate for a mother figure that you're chasing after my wedding planner? The words hung there. Mommy issues. That's what he was saying. That's what everyone would say. It's not like that, I said quietly. Then what is it like? Explain to me how this isn't completely fucked up. Explain to me how she's not taking advantage of you. Because from where I'm standing, this looks like a predatory older woman who couldn't get a man her own age, so she went after someone young and naive. I'm not naive, and she didn't go after me. I went after her. For 3 years, I went after her, and she kept saying no. She kept trying to protect me from exactly this, from you reacting like this, from people judging, from the fallout. But I didn't care. Because I love her. You don't love her. You're infatuated. There's a difference. I know the difference. Do you? Because I'm looking at my little brother who's throwing away his future for some midlife crisis fling. It's not a fling. Then what happens when she's 60 and you're 43? When she's 70 and you're 53? You really think this is going to last? I think it's worth trying. Ryan laughed, sharp and bitter. You're so young. You don't understand what you're giving up. The chance to build a normal life. Have kids. Grow old with someone at the same pace. I don't want kids. I want her. You say that now. I'll say it in 10 years too. He stared at me. Then he said, very quietly, you've made your choice. Now you get to live with the consequences. What does that mean? It means I can't have you as my best man. Not with this situation. The words hit like a punch to the gut. Ryan, I'm sorry, but I can't stand up there with you next to me knowing everyone's whispering about you and Marisa. This is supposed to be our day, Oliver, and you've turned it into a spectacle. We were trying to wait until after the wedding to tell anyone. Well, that plan failed spectacularly, didn't it? You're uninviting me from your wedding? I'm asking you to make a choice. Her or me. Don't call her that. Why? That's what she is. A 46-year-old woman having a crisis, dragging my little brother down with her. I stood. I'm sorry this hurts you. I'm sorry this isn't what you wanted, but I'm not giving her up. Not for you, not for anyone. Then you're not welcome at my wedding. Ryan, Claire said softly, maybe we should all take some time. No. He made his choice. Now he lives with it. Ryan looked at me with something like betrayal in his eyes. When you come to your senses, when you wake up and realize what you've thrown away, don't come crying to me. I left, drove straight to Marisa's apartment. She opened the door and saw my face and just pulled me inside. He knows, I said. I know. He called me too. Fired me. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. I'm so sorry, Oliver. This is my fault. I should never have. Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. I did everything wrong. I'm 46 years old. I should have known better. Should have been the adult. Should have walked away when you first said you had feelings. I wouldn't have let you. You don't get a choice in letting me. I'm the one with the power here. The age, the experience. And I use that to what? Love me? Because that's all you did. You loved me. And I love you. That's not wrong. Then why does it feel like we've destroyed everything? She was crying now. Really crying. Your brother hates us. Your parents are going to hate me. Everyone at that wedding, everyone in our industry is going to think I'm some desperate cougar who couldn't get a man her own age. I don't care what they think. So here's my question for you. If you met someone who made you feel more alive than anyone ever had, but loving them meant facing judgment every single day, would you do it? Would you choose the safe, appropriate timeline everyone expects? Or the messy, beautiful reality that makes your heart race? Think about it. Because I chose messy. I chose real. I chose her gray hair, crow's feet. 17 years older, that jasmine and black pepper perfume that became home, and it was worth every whisper, every stare, every sacrifice. 3 years later, I'd make the same choice. Every single time.